This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
We can enter any home we want, and we will want. These warnings are willing is finite. Don't force us to hurt you. Please just let us purge. To the standard.
You better find someplace else to go.
I got a wicked sweet tooth tonight. And I want my candy back.
It is time for another purge of the BS Sunday morning edition. Well, I missed the Saturday, a lot going on, but I had to get this episode out. So thank y'all for coming in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share the stream. Make sure you jump in the chat. Say what's up so I know where you're coming in from. Special shouts to anybody who has been affected by the recent government shutdown. I firmly believe they're going to work that out, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. But today, we got to focus, all right? This episode is going to be tackling kind of the intersection of power, corruption, the cultural decline of hip-hop. We got a whole bunch of things that kind of intertwine today. So we're going to purge this BS because at this point, we need to know what this really means for us. So make sure you hit the like button. Let me get myself together over here. Now, with that being said, all right, just get right into it. Thank y'all for coming in, all the early folks that's coming in. Thank y'all. This is an impromptu. We don't normally do lives on Sunday mornings. So anybody that comes in here, you right where you supposed to be. Thank you for coming through. Very much. Applauses for you. Huh? You. All right, so let's get into this. Because I know times are hard, okay? I know times are hard for some. And I wanted to make it known that there has been an offer made by a golden bachelor for any of the ladies that want to take advantage. I want y'all to see the offer. Don't say no before you see it. I'm not saying you should do it or you shouldn't. I'm just saying you should be made aware that it's an option. So, out here, let's transition. All right. Go. All right. So this gentleman here, 79-year-old millionaire, is looking for a young woman to give him a son to inherit his fortune and his estate. Sir Benjamin Slade's property spans over 1,200 acres and includes a historic manor known as Mounsell House. Slade had previously advertised for a partner with some very specific requirements, preferably in her 20s to 30s, aristocratic or professional background, no taller than 5'6", and willing to produce a male heir. My man got guns and dogs. This is his profile picture for the dating site. Like, this is how he's coming out. Coming in a little hot. But I'll be honest with you, there's some people that would probably take that deal. But the thing is, what does the so-called person get other than, I guess, to live in this situation? Because the male heir is the person that's going to get all of this. But what if they don't have a male child? What if they just have a couple of girls? I don't know, this is very confusing. You know, you would think with this kind of money, he could just put his stuff in a cup, send it over somewhere, and they can give him a male baby back in about 9 months. You know? But let's see what the comments. Somebody jumps right in and said the dude got a vasectomy and is just trying to have sex with a bunch of young women. So this is interesting because there's a lot of back and forth on the internet about this offer per se and whether it's worth it for a person to do it. And I would have to say, depending on your situation, it might be worth it. Now, if you're hard up for money, you're probably not the type of person he's looking for. Because aristocratic normally means aristocratic or professional background. That means that you're like upper crust, not one of the streetwalkers, so to speak. We're not talking some pretty woman shit here. We're talking about somebody who's relatively established in their own life, and this guy just wants to put a baby up in her and give the baby all of his stuff. So I feel like that might be bad for the mother if she's not really included in this whole, you know, heir of whatever. Like, he didn't say anything about marrying the woman. He just said looking for a partner to give him a baby. He didn't say he's looking for a wife to leave his legacy or create a legacy with. That specifically he needs a male heir and a lady to put the male heir in. So, ladies, if you are looking for some quick work, I mean, it'll take you a few months here, but I think the living arrangements will probably be fine. But this man, his name is Sir Benjamin Slade. I'm not sure how is he from here? Get to be a sir in America now? I mean, everybody's a male who's a sir, but I'm just saying, like, sir, somebody is a U.S. person. I don't know. Just saying, ladies, if it's rough out here, if you lost your stamps and such, and you're losing your benefits, you may want to hit up Mr. Slade and see if he can help you out. Like an Uncle Rufus type help you out. All right? Keep it moving. Hold up. My transition is wrong, though. Get this right. All right. So at this point, I guess the question is, when does this kind of like entertainment, the Golden Bachelor and stuff like that, when does it really become exploitation? Because you're specifically saying, I don't need to love this person. I need them to be about this age, about this height, and be willing to have a baby put in them. Does that cheapen the parenting part of it? Maybe in a literal sense it does, but what'll happen if him and the lady aren't married and she moves out with the baby? Then he got to pay a bunch of child support. So, Sir Slade, this is probably not a good idea. Just being honest, you got a lot to lose in this situation. You may just want to put it in the cup, go talk to the people at the cryo spot, find you somebody in a book that looks, you know, the way you want them to look, have them mix you up with their eggs or whatever, and then they send you a baby home with no mama. That's your best bet, Mr. So, speaking of people and being on their best BS, I had to come back to this particular story here because there's been a lot of talk about one Candace Owens, okay? And anybody who's watched this show before knows how I feel about Candace Owens. I don't agree with the lady on a lot of stuff, but I respect her, and I respect the fact that she has a voice and she has a really good following. Like, the people that follow her are loyal, and I wouldn't call them retarded. Most of them wouldn't call them retarded. So they're pretty well-educated people, and people support somebody. You can find out a lot about what's going on by who comes up against it. And so the last episode we did, we were talking about this gag order situation, and that has since changed, okay? Gag order situation is done. That's all over with. But what seems to be happening now is people are coming for...
Of course, we have to arrive here because...
Hold on a second. Hold on. Because Candace Owens is bringing a lot of people's names up, and including the administration. Some people are not very happy with it. Now, I worry about it because if we haven't learned anything recently, if they don't like what you're talking about, they will touch you. They will touch you in a way that you cannot recover from. I know that sounds a little heartless or whatever, but they will touch you in a way that you will never recover from. Bring this on. All right, so as you can see, she brought up the Trumpster. That's where it gets dangerous. Start bringing up Donald Trump and stuff because he has a way of making sure that you stop doing that. Listen to a couple of words she has so y'all understand what the problem is. Something happens to Candace Owens, I'm guaranteeing you. The story is that she did that to herself. That ain't the truth.
Charlie really loved Donald J. Trump, okay? He loved him. It is unreal going through my messages to really consider how much he dedicated his entire life to him. And I mean, sleepless nights wanting to ensure that he got elected, reelected, midterm elections, hitting the ground, wearing a MAGA hat. We were everywhere. I was on fire for Trump too. I really believed in Trump. I really believed that if people could wake up to how quickly the media turned on him, that it could be, this conduit to Black Americans understanding that we're being manipulated. Because my focus was all about Black America, right? And what I can say is that from the very moment that we learned the news that Charlie Kirk had passed, I knew spiritually that we were never going to get the full story from officials, right? Not from officials. I can't explain it. I felt that way. And then when Trump rushed to tweet out that, or Truth Social out that photo, that AI photo of him and Charlie with the Star of David in the background, I just knew. I knew the investigation into who murdered Charlie Kirk was officially over, right? The officials wanted nothing to do with it because there was nobody more psychotically insistent that people stop asking questions about Charlie's death immediately. I mean, early hours, right? Than the people that are dedicated to the Israel lobby, right? These individuals, if you go back, people that are pro-Israel for whatever reason, were like, do not look any further into this death. In fact, I'll challenge you. Do me a favor. Find me just one real life pro-Israel individual who is expressing that they don't believe that Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson. The evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson didn't act alone, that Tyler Robinson didn't fire the shot, that Tyler Robinson didn't use a 30-06. Find me just one person with a platform who's pro-Israel and says, I want this investigation into his death to continue. It's a bit weird, right? It's a bit weird. Dogs, very silent right now. Very, very silent. And there's like a stake on the ground. They're not moving. It's very weird. They do, all of them, however, I will say, want him to be honored, right? Mostly by your money. They want you to give to Turning Point USA. That's the best way, by the way, that you can honor him. Open up your pocketbooks. They don't have enough money there, right? Clearing like $100 million a year. They don't have enough. Open up your pockets, keep his show going, and don't ask questions.
I'm gonna pause it right there because that's she's getting dangerous. Getting dangerous when she's talking about these organizations, and these organizations are donated to. People put money behind them. So start talking bad about a particular organization, some people will take that personally. And I'm telling you right now, Candace Owens is taking this thing all the way. And I believe that it is just me. I believe that it is somewhat genuine, because if that was my friend and that happened and everybody just wanted to just kind of glaze over it like nothing happened, I'd probably be like Candace. I want more. I want more information. I want to know who these people were. I want to know why this happened. I want more. And it seems like she's the only one that's really being like that. So that is a little fishy to me. I would assume his family and close friends would be similar. But they haven't stopped her from talking per se. And they also haven't like joined into the conversation either. So they're kind of leaving her out on this island by herself to try to get this investigation done or whatever. And of course, on the other side of it is a bunch of people coming with conspiracy theories, and, you know, it's a lot with the case itself. But I feel like they're putting Candace on an island so they can get rid of her, because she's becoming way too powerful with this. And I'll tell you why. If you look at her YouTube number, right? Just YouTube. Forget X and the other forums she has, the Candace Book Club and all that other stuff she got going on. Just YouTube. She's pulling 1 million views a video every day. That's a lot of money. And people are watching the videos. Maybe not in their entirety, but they're watching enough to get a good click-through rate, good retention rate, and she is getting money. So YouTube can't get rid of her because now she's a moneymaker. Until she finds something that directly points to somebody that's really in power, they're going to let her keep doing it. So I want y'all to understand, she is not protected well. She doesn't have a group of people around her that seem to be, you know, pro what she's working on, or it seems like she's by herself. And that's very dangerous in this day and time, when you are a loud voice, millions and millions of followers, and you don't have any protection at all. I worry about that. But we'll let her finish this segment here. But the main thing is Candace is back. I told you she was coming back because she was quiet for a second. And I thought that was because maybe somebody called her and death threatened her or something, and she had to chill out for a week. But she's back. And if anything I've heard is even remotely true, there's a lot to be uncovered and talked about here. And I think if they just have the conversation, it would calm her little ass down. But the fact that nobody's trying to talk about it is making her more like more interested. And to a degree, it makes me more interested too, because it's like, well, why are they not interested in this information? And if she's lying, then let's just debunk the lies and keep it moving. But it doesn't seem like that's what they're do. So
Obviously the clearest way that we can honor Charlie Kirk. They want him lionized, and they did try to lionize him immediately as the most Judeo-Christian goy ever, right? He was basically, why not just put him in a yarmulke in some of these AI photos? That would make more sense. The direction, I mean, so instant. It's like just like trying to establish the legacy, right? And keeping with that, we want this to be honorific, not actually trying to solve what happened here. For Charlie's birthday, President Trump signed into law or established rather a holiday. And he decided that October 14th, which is Charlie Kirk's birthday, would be a national day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how I feel about that. Truly Zionists that infiltrated my book club, you did not need to pay the $9.99 to find out how I feel about this. I don't know why people think I'm hiding how I feel. It's very weird. Like, when did people go, oh, we have to try to listen in to hear what she really thinks? I'll tell you what I really think. I think it's crap. Okay? What I said in my book club holds. It's never good when the feds are lining up to give you a holiday. It's not good. You know, Martin Luther King vibes. Martin Luther King Jr. I think maybe the feds definitely killed Martin Luther King Jr. But in school, we get to learn about him. He's got this whole holiday. He
said, I think maybe the feds definitely. So that's an interesting way to mix the words up. At the end of the day, you're saying the feds did it. But most people feel similarly when it comes to MLK. So have we come so far as to forget the MLK situation and just be 100% sure that nobody had anything to do with this Charlie Kirk thing? Just some random kid that had a trans boyfriend, girlfriend, and hopped on a roof one day and made an almost impossible shot without real training. And you know, it's a tough one to swallow when you put the information out like that. So I see why she has these issues. And I think if the evidence that they presented made more sense, she would just take that as the evidence. But because they got real quiet, they kind of solved the thing in 30 hours, like in a day. They had the whole thing wrapped up, no more investigations, open and shut, and then they cleaned up the crime scene, paved over the place where it was at. Like, it does smell funny. But I'm not going to go as deep as Candace Owens because I'm not trying to get shot in the neck like Charlie Kirk. I'm going to be honest. I don't have time for that shit right now.
Such a great, I love that I have a dream speech. Oh, the feds. Oh, man, you're good. You were so great. It's unfortunate that we had to murder you. I don't like it because the best way to honor Charlie Kirk is very obvious.
She is in
Figure
some
out
hot water, man. You better
first.
stop, Candace.
Let's celebrate the holiday later. I want to figure out who killed him first. And so I'm struck by this. I'm struck by Trump and the lack of demand, the lack of pushing on the narrative. Trump has really represented himself, at least as me, someone who voted for him twice. He represented himself as an individual who didn't trust the federal establishment. This feels like an easy layup here. You're a friend. He viewed you in many ways like a father figure, right? Hey, feds, what's going on here? And I said, maybe he did, because I was in this aggrieved stage and I really didn't poke my head up until weeks later when I could stop crying about it every second. And I said, maybe I missed it. Maybe Trump did actually say this is crap. Maybe he did call for an investigation. And we did a search on Truth Social to see how many times President Trump tweeted or Truth Social calling for further investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder. And there was only one tweet that we could find to that effect. And this tweet is not what I would describe as him calling for an investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder, actually. Here it is. This is the only one we can find. Why was the wonderful turning point under investigation by deranged Jack Smith and a corrupt and incompetent Biden administration? They tried to force Charlie and many other people and movements out of business. They weaponized the Justice Department against sleepy Joe Biden's political opponents, including me. They allowed the daughter of a judge of one of the corrupt trials against me to become the biggest fundraiser for Biden and Kamala, making millions of dollars for herself and her family. But with her father, the judge, not only refusing to recuse himself, but putting a gag order on me, not allowing any talk about their family corruption and unprecedented conflict of interest.
That doesn't sound like anything that has anything to do with Charlie Kirk.
Every leading legal analyst and pundit said this trial was wrong and should not have been allowed to go forward. But it did because of a corrupt judge who will hopefully pay a very big price for his illegal actions someday. Okay. Scale of 1 to 10, how much is that do you feel about Charlie Kirk? I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know what to make of that. Like I said, it's pretty obvious. They want us to just look at everything and go, case closed. Don't you see? We're all united. We're standing up here. We're giving him a holiday. We're signing that. And we've got all these photographers here. Turning Point's chief fundraiser lady here. And she's crying. So obviously she loved Charlie. Kash Patel was there. Of all the people, unbelievable to me. They're here. Kash Patel's here. So you can see we're all united. You can totally trust the FBI science now. We're ruling out corruption. That's why we don't know what Jeffrey Epstein files are talking about. Because all we had to do was win against Democrats and corruption would be over. Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? I'm sorry.
All right, I'm gonna pause that right there because there was a secondary Candace clip I had to get to, but I'm just telling y'all she's gonna put herself in danger, and it's not without nobility. Like I feel it's a noble cause. If she truly feels how she feels, and I do have some questions myself. Now Charlie Kirk wasn't a friend of mine. But I can only imagine if I had similar questions about any of my friends and how they met their demise. So I think to some degree, if you want Candace to chill out, they're going to need to pacify her to some degree. Like give her something that will calm her down. And I'm not talking about drugs. I'm saying information that makes more sense that'll get her to kind of calm down. Because if not, she's going to keep going. And she has a pretty good team of people, and the reason why is because she's got money to do it. Getting 1 to 2 million views every single day on long form videos, you're making good money off of YouTube. Good money, like really good money. And she's been doing that, consistently. If even before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, but since then, every video, every single one, on a live, she'll have 100,000 people on the live chat putting up super chats. So people are mad. They're like, Candace is monetizing this. That's not all her fault. That's a AdSense, YouTube. If enough people are watching for a period of time, a person makes money. That's just how it works. That's not bad. That's just how it works. So if you don't want her to keep doing that, you're going to need to give her something to calm her down. Because if not, she's just going to keep. I saw the thing when she did the stuff with Kamala Harris, and she didn't let up. She didn't let up till she got to the point of finding this woman's family in Jamaica and all types of stuff. So you better give Candace something, because if not, she's going to keep going. And if she keeps going, you already know they're going to touch her. I already know how this shit works. You don't get to just walk around.
I don't like it. It's the vibes.
So this was the most recent one. So this is 2 videos in 2 days where she is literally talking shit to the powers that be about this Charlie Kirk situation. And I can't say it's without any merit. Granted, she has an emotional connection, and that does drive a lot of what she's doing. But the information she's presenting, if you go check it out, she's be on point with a lot of it. You know, and you can form your own opinions once you go do your own research. And if you find that you've come to the same conclusion that she does, hey, that's fine too. Or if you come to a different conclusion, but she'll give you, you know, the resources that she's using so you can go find out for yourself. So I respect that about how she does the journalism.
Don't feel right. What was going on? Why was Turning Point, what was their campus doing? Why are people at Turning Point saying they don't know where the money's coming from? Why is no one seem to be grieving him in the right way? Why does it feel to me like a hostile takeover of a company? That's how I personally feel. Okay. That's how I feel. I feel this was a hostile takeover of a company. And I feel that the company became bigger than Charlie because Charlie was too ambitious, and Charlie trusted people, and he trusted that people were in it for the right reasons. And what I have learned in politics is people are hardly ever in it for the right reasons. Truly. If you are getting into politics, you think you're going to meet good people, you're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. In fact, if you have a lot of friends in politics, I probably already know that I can't trust you because I know what it takes to keep friends in politics. Friends of Charlie Kirk, look what they're doing. Kash Patel, Charlie had him on his show. Kash Patel should be the FBI director. He fought for that. Look how Kash Patel is acting, right? 33 hours, wink, wink, Freemasons, wink, wink, wink. Oh, Tyler Robinson's file adds up to 33. Oh, the Freemason Lodge in St. George or in Utah is number 33. It's like, we get it, okay? This is an assassination at a very high level, and they do communicate with numerology. And if this sounds above your head, it's probably because you're not in my book club. But it is just, to me, the most sinister and sickening thing that these people can lay their heads on the pillow at night and they were just going to keep going, okay? I feel a lot is adding up, and that more people need to look into Turning Point Faith. They need to look into NAR. Again, I would follow Village Crazy Lady on X. She's fantastic at research, and she has been keeping them on their toes with research, and that is the area that she wants to go down. I can only chase so many rabbits, and I think what we have an understanding of is an apparatus that was about anything but faith, okay? I think actually, when I now look at the picture and I'm learning more about Rob McCoy and knowing that he was the co-chair in 2024 or maybe in 2023 of Turning Point USA, they believe, and this is why the Christian Zionism thing becomes so important, that they can hijack our emotions and tell us that it's our biblical duty to support the state of Israel, because I think the state of Israel is probably involved in what is happening at the border, in what is happening overseas. It is definitively involved in all these wars. I mean, everywhere you look, Israel pops up.
I heard that. Can't say that one, Candace. You can't say that. I mean, you can, obviously, because she just did. But I'm just saying, this is how you get in trouble. And I see this woman is fearless, so it is what it is. But she just basically implicated Israel and everything. And that's where people are going to definitely take a shot.
It doesn't matter if you're talking about Congo. They'll be like, well, look at what the Christians being slaughtered in Congo. Oopsies, Dan Gertler, the diamond thing. How are they number one in the diamond trade? They don't live in a place with diamonds that grow. So like, I mean, what are we even talking about? Like, what are we talking about with this nation? What are we talking about? Charlie was a Christian Zionist because he believed that was true. And I actually believe it is a perversion of scripture. And I am begging you all, those of you who go to these mega churches, those of you who are evangelical, who follow these evangelical influencers, you are probably noticing about now that they are mum on the topic of Charlie Kirk. They want to move on. They want to let it be known that it's just a trans shooter. Not one of them is standing up and going, no. I spiritually feel that something is wrong. We all feel that something is spiritually wrong. And yet these people are trying to tell you that there's nothing to see here. That needs to be your wake-up call. If there is going to be a turning point, it is not going to be the one that they expected. Okay, I sense that. There will be a turning point, but it is not going to be the one that they're banking on, where a bunch of Christians are sold slop and are told that it is their God duty to support the nation of Israel, while looking away from the fact that they're acting real weird in the hours after Charlie's assassination. doing way too much. Man is cartwheeling to tell you they had nothing to do with it. They are asking you to set aside your instinct, your gut instinct, your God instinct. You recognize something is wrong. That's why you're watching this show. You are recognizing that the people around Charlie are not acting in the way that they should be acting, that their emotionality is not meeting the moment of violence that we all witnessed. Instead, they're turning on me. They're making videos about me for investigating. They're lying to you about where Charlie was on his faith journey. That's hush hush. The Catholic thing must stay hush hush. Why? It's all kind of adding up, right? They're attacking Tucker Carlson because he's attacking Christian Zionism. They're angry at Charlie because it's looking like he might get off the Christian Zionist reservation because that's what it is. Okay, that's a plantation. And what they are mining is your emotion. What they are mining is your belief in God. And there's no question in my mind. It is corrupt, but it is also dangerous. It is dangerously corrupt. And I think that Charlie learned this lesson the hard way. I'm appreciative to all of you guys who are sending me emails. You're worried about my safety. Please stop sending those. Okay. I understand what I'm doing. I have read my messages over and over again with Charlie, ones I have not even revealed. And this to me feels like a Christ mission to wake up the world and make them aware of what snake it is that has wrapped around all of the nations. And it does so in the name of God.
Candace, with all due respect, ma'am, you're going to need to be careful of what you are saying at this time. I hear you. I hear you. But she just said that she feels like she was mandated by God to deal with this. So that means she is about to go super hard on people, who basically, if you believe what you believe, these people will conspire to have you taken out. So if you're going hard against these people, you would have to almost assume that at some point they're going to try to do the same thing to you. So Candace, please, I'm not saying stop what you're doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying get some security, like some real security that you can trust. Get some people around you because this thing is about to take a turn in a direction that's going to be very dangerous for her, her family, and anybody that associates with her. And I'm just an outsider looking in, but there's some groups out there that when you talk about them, you get in trouble. And she has a voice that's large enough that if she starts to talking, some people are going to listen. And they don't want these people listening. They don't want people listening. They want us to be enraged, pulled over here, pulled over there, back and forth. They don't want you to be listening to what the hell Candace Owens is talking about. Candace Owens, who used to talk nothing but shit about black people. Remember, we hate Candace Owens. Remember, she's a grifter. Remember, she's an anti-Semite. Remember? Meanwhile, she's bringing up stuff that's like, you got a point. I mean, I don't know everybody at Turning Point, but I will say this. In my opinion, people did not respond how I would consider normal to that situation. And honestly, me and my folks been saying that from day one, but we got to let them have it because that wasn't my folks. That wasn't my, that wasn't my brother. That wasn't my close friend. So you got to let people grieve how they grieve. I'm just saying if it was me, my wife would be acting a certain way. My friends would be acting a certain way. My parents would be acting a certain way. My close friends, you see what I'm saying? And it didn't line up. So that's why I said, I'm going to stay out of this because I don't like how it feels and I don't want to keep feeling like that. So I'm going to just let them have it. Whatever day of remembrance they want to do, whatever. Candace wasn't doing that because that was her friend. So now she's in too deep and she better get some security because they're coming for you. I know what I know.
In the name of God, Christian Zionists are telling you to support
Bringing
a nation
God into it.
that has mass murdered children. You can watch the videos. They're telling you to do this because it is your biblical duty. When are you going to wake up? Charlie Kirk, he was the number one Zionist for a very long time, Christian Zionist for a very long time. Look at how they are treating him now that he is dead. They are lying on his name. You have to wake up, okay? It is my mission to share this information with you to get you to wake up because I think Charlie was right. I think there was something about me and him together, okay, that was, I don't know, like just meant to happen, Not in the way that some of you guys are interpreting that. The kid, he was literally my kid brother, but I mean, like there was a higher calling to his assassination, which he knew was coming. He knew he was going to die. He said from the time he started Turning Point USA that his life was going to be short, and he knew that I would be the one to fight for him. He knew that it was going to be me that was going to be the one that would fight for him. He knew that I would be his David, and it is that relationship that we described yesterday, the David and the Jonathan. He was my friend, okay? I watched him work, but more than anything else, I laughed with him. He was my friend. And you are not meant spiritually to watch your friend catch a bullet in the throat. And you've got two things after that happens that you can do, okay? You can run from it. You can run from it and say, I don't want to end up like him. Or you can fight like hell to find out who did it to him. And I have chosen option 2. All right?
All right. Well, if you didn't know how Candace feels about this thing, I'm just making sure y'all are aware when the story comes up later that something happened to her. We're probably not gonna find out anything in that regard, but we know that we live in a world where there are some systems and people who are, I don't want to say above the law, but they get things done in dark rooms that we never hear about. And they're very intricate. This is not some fly-by-night stuff they do. They take time to plan these things. And then a person ends up unalived, and we get, hey, their brakes went out on their car, or, it's an accident with a bus or something crazy. And I'm just saying, I think Candace Owens needs to be careful. That's all I'm saying. I feel her. I feel where she's at with her friend, but I don't want to see anything happen to her as a result of how she feels. Now, if she's bringing out hard evidence and somebody can be prosecuted for it, and we're doing it that way, the legal way, so to speak, okay, I get it. But if we're just going to chase how we feel, somebody else is going to feel bad about that, and they're going to make sure you don't get to feel like that. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Well, let me see here. Let me make sure I got my... she was safer when she was just talking about black people. It's so much safer to talk about these black savages than it is to talk about anybody else. Considering the fact that black people are so dangerous, you would think it would be the other way around. No, apparently. Apparently, talking about certain groups is way more dangerous than talking about black people. See, black people, they just didn't like what she was talking about, and they just didn't watch her stuff. That was how they dealt with it. But there are other groups, they don't just tune you out, they take you out. Nonetheless, speaking of things being taken out, let's get into this next little segment here. That one's tough for me because I know they're going to do something. She's going to get canceled. It's going to be something. She's pointing too direct at people. She started talking about Trump. That's dangerous waters over there. That's all I'm going to say. So, speaking of things that you're going to see or not see, there's been an ongoing beef lately with Disney and YouTube TV. And I am very pissed off because the other day I was watching TV and all of a sudden, I think it was Freeform I was watching. I was watching a movie, horror movie or whatever. And all of a sudden the damn thing just cut off and said, I forgot what the message was, but it wasn't a normal, like you didn't pay your bill kind of message. It was something more along the lines of, hey, you no longer have this channel because of your provider service. So let's go into this discussion here, because a lot of people feel a certain type of way about it. Wanted y'all to know it. All right. Close this up. Okay, there we go. So Disney's channels, anybody that's got YouTube TV, all of the Disney channels have been removed from YouTube. And that's because of a apparent talk that Disney wanted to go up on their prices. YouTube did not want to go up on their subscribers' prices. And that seems to be stalemate. So that happened, 2 days ago. So it's still going on right now. The blackout will leave subscribers unable to watch content from Disney networks, including ESPN, ABC, Disney Channel, FX, National Geographic, and Freeform. So FX was one of the ones. It was FX Movies. That's what I was watching. I was watching FX Movies, and it cut off for me. So neither company has indicated when this is going to end. So if you want to see ESPN, you're going to have to actually subscribe to an ESPN subscription. And at the end of the day, YouTube is blaming, not YouTube, Disney's blaming Google and saying that they chose to deny their subscribers the content they value most by refusing to pay fair rates for our channels, including ESPN and ABC. So I guess what they're saying is they want more from Google and YouTube TV to stream through those services. And Google said that decision would directly harm the subscribers while only benefiting the live TV products, including Hulu Plus and Fubo. So for anybody that cares about this, if you're really big on watching TV and you watch FX and things like that, this is probably going to annoy you for the foreseeable future, okay? Because Disney I didn't even know Disney owned ESPN. That was new to me. But I remember them buying FX not too long ago. They went and bought that. So I think Disney's trying to push Hulu Live TV because I think they own that or they have some stake in it. And so they want people to stop using YouTube TV. So this is their leverage. So letting you guys know, this is going on. Currently, there are no talks of returning these channels to you. So if you would like to see Monday Night Football on ESPN, you're going to need to get an ESPN subscription specifically or change from YouTube TV to it. Sucks, but it is what it is. Everybody's out to make a buck. Remember when TV used to just come on? Remember when Monday Night Football was just on Monday night on NBC or whoever it was on, ABC? I can't remember which network it was. But Monday Night Football just came on, and you saw your Sunday games, your football games. Then there was basic cable. You paid your basic cable joint, and you only had 2 or 3 providers in the area. You had your like local cable people. Then all these streaming services came out, and it changed the way that they compete. Because basic cable is basically what YouTube TV and Hulu Live Sports and all that stuff is. But the difference is you need the internet, which could be a whole different company service. Like YouTube doesn't provide internet, neither does Google. So you still have to get another service, whether it's whatever area you live in, might be Xfinity or Verizon or whoever it is. Somebody's got to provide you internet service, and then you've got to connect to the TV service. No more just turn on the TV and it pulls stuff out the sky. Now, granted, they do have some of those digital channels still available, but they're crap. Nobody wants to watch that shit. You want to watch the real channels, you got to get a service. So they've backed us all in the corners. They did this with TV now. They've done it with our software, like Microsoft. Used to be able to just buy Microsoft Office and you just had it. Now you have to pay for it every single month or pay for a yearly amount. You got to pay for storage in the cloud. You got to pay for everything. And everybody's making money except the person that's paying for it. The regular people like us. We can't even watch freaking Monday Night Football on YouTube TV because Disney wants more money from Google. Like, y'all not making enough? Y'all are not making enough with millions of subscribers and millions of people that are watching your programming? Y'all not making enough. Bullshit. So I don't want to hear it from Disney that they're not making enough from YouTube TV when they've got all these other subscription services that they make money from. They're getting their money. They need to stop tripping, let people watch their stuff, and just keep it moving. It's not our fault that they decided to raise their price on Google. And Google said, we're not going to raise our price on our subscribers just because y'all want to talk, y'all want to do that. We'll just forget your channels then. You won't get no ad money from us. You won't get you won't get any money from us then if you don't want to be fair. So I see where they're coming from. We'll see how it works out. You know? All right. Oh, we're going to get into some bad police. I like it. Go. Right here. Special shouts to Da Daniela 93 for the subscribe. Appreciate you. And make sure if you are in the chat or in the stream at this point, make sure you at minimum hit the like button. All right. That way you can come back for our Tuesday shows and panel show. The panel show won't be back up for 2 weeks. Panel show will come back on the 15th of November. Okay. I'm working on a very special panel for that one. So that's why we're going to take a break. But nonetheless, let's talk about some corrupt police. That's always fun. Let's see what this one's about. So we've got some police officers that did something in, what is this, Minnesota? Find out. Sorry, I had to get the link up first.
Right now, the FBI.
Oh, watching this whole. See what it's about. Let's see if we can get the information quick. This is says it's 17 minutes. I don't have 17 minutes to watch this shit. So let's see what we got. You up a little bit. You're at 0.25.
Right now, the FBI making a major announcement in Oxford today about a Delta drug conspiracy takedown. Let's listen in.
Get to you, and at the end of that, we're going to take a few questions, so don't worry. But we're here today to talk about some incredibly serious allegations that mark a very, it's just a monumental betrayal of public trust.
Okay,
Here's what we're talking about here today.
What we got?
We're here today to announce the indictment and arrest of 20 individuals, most of them law enforcement officers in the Mississippi Delta region. The indictments generally allege the taking of bribes to attempt to aid and abet drug trafficking, as well as associated crimes. The first indictment that I'll talk about involves a conspiracy whereby law enforcement officers and their accomplices are alleged to have agreed to provide safe passage for illegal narcotics and drug proceeds to the Mississippi Delta region, and ultimately on the last of those runs into Memphis itself. And they did this in return for bribe payments, for money. They are also indicted for related firearms offenses and, of course, individual counts related to specific runs throughout the Mississippi Delta.
Oh, the police did all this? Okay. What else we got?
The places I'm referring to where they're employed, that's really during the times that are relevant to the charges in their indictment. So indicted in this particular conspiracy were Brandon Addison, who's a Mississippi law enforcement officer employed by the Hollandale Police Department and the Humphreys County Sheriff's Office at times relevant to the indictment. Javari Howard, a Mississippi law enforcement officer employed by the Metcalf Police Department and later, during the course of the investigation, the Hollandale Police Department. Milton Gaston, the elected sheriff of Washington County, Mississippi.
Damn, the sheriff?
Truron Grayson, who was employed by the Humphreys County Sheriff's Office. Bruce Williams, who was the elected, or is at the moment, the elected sheriff of Humphreys County, Mississippi.
Wow.
Sean Williams, who was employed by the Yazoo City Police Department. Dexter Franklin, who was employed by the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Wendell Johnson, who was employed by the Bolivar County Sheriff's Office. Now, I want to take note on this particular name. When you see the indictments themselves, you're going to have 22 names. I'm about to explain why we're telling you 20 people are now charged. And so this next individual who appears in the indictment, I want to make this very clear. Based on information obtained today, the charges against Amber Holmes have been dismissed. She's no longer charged in this case and is no longer implicated in any wrongdoing related to this investigation. The remaining co-defendants on that first indictment, the large one, are Marcus Nolan, Hassan Roach, Jeremy Silas, Torio Chaz Wiseman, Pierre Lakes, and Derek Wallace. The first four of those individuals I named escorted alleged drugs on runs on a run to Memphis, and likewise the last two persons I named, Mr. Lakes and Mr. Wallace joined the conspiracy on a trip that was taken by a number of the co-conspirators to Miami, Florida. A separate indictment charges a conspiracy as follows. It's essentially the attempt to aid and abet the transport and distribution of illegal narcotics in return for bribes, related offenses regarding the carrying of firearms while doing that, and that the crux of that indictment was the transport of what the defendants thought were 25 kilograms of cocaine through the Mississippi Delta.
Damn, 25 kilos? All right, I've heard enough. I've heard enough with this. So a bunch of police officers, sheriffs included, some elected officials, all conspired together to basically transport drugs between Memphis and it looks like Miami. So they had something going on. They were probably getting the stuff from Miami and bringing it back to Memphis because Memphis is not the place where you breed cocaine. But Miami is a place where things can come in and then you bring them forth. So I mean, here's the thing, guys. Because I'm sure that he's just going to keep going on and telling this to happen. Money is funny these days. Whether you're a police officer or a judge or none of that really matters. People out here struggling. Now, I would suffice to say, if you're an officer, lending your services to escorting, because that was the term that they use, escorting. So that means like they're driving something and there's police cars escorting them to their location. And they're taking, I guess, a bribe or a payment for that service. So, I don't know, man. I'll just be honest with you. These things are going on constantly. And a lot of the names that they read off sounded like a bunch of black guys. And there was a couple other folks who were higher up. And I'm not saying it's a black thing or white thing. The point I'm trying to make is these were just officers. They weren't special. They weren't like, infiltrating from another country. They live here. They were born here probably. Grew up here and decided to become police officers. And somewhere in that decided to become dirty police officers. And I believe that we have far too many dirty types of police officers. And how do you get to the bottom of that? I don't know. I really don't know. I just think it's interesting that they brought this up with all these 20-something different people. That means it was a pretty long operation. They let it go on for a while, so that they could get their case together. And now here we've got 20-something officers and sheriffs, elected sheriffs. It always goes back to the top. It does. It always goes back to the top. Hold on, I got another one too. Let's go. Baltimore Senator? What's going on in Baltimore? It says there's a Baltimore Senator that got charges for something. Let me see this one. Might be something. Okay. Oh, she was. All right, let's check it out. All right, so Maryland State Senator Dela Attar has been arrested on federal charges and indicted on federal extortion and conspiracy charges. All right, so she basically did some stuff. Oh, she's cute. Looks like she had an issue with an ex-boyfriend. Hold on. Let me give me a second here. I'm trying to got in here. All right, so she allegedly conspired with her brother and a Baltimore cop to install hidden cameras and a car tracker on a former political consultant in 2020. They captured bedroom footage of the consultant with a married man and threatened to release it, plus sabotage her daughter's marriages in the Orthodox community unless she stopped criticizing Attar's record ahead of the 2020. Facing 8 federal counts of extortion and conspiracy, police with bond had to surrender her. Wow. So she basically conspired with the police to spy on somebody that was talking shit about her. That's it. Huh. I have to follow this story because, basically she just was doing something stupid and got caught having relations with a married man, and then this other lady tried to extort her because she was talking about her record. Jeez. Gotta watch these folks. You look like kind of almost an innocent face there, right? But she didn't like you talking about her little record, and she went and got the police to get footage of you having sex with somebody who was married so that they could use it against you. Wow. Wow. Okay, Baltimore, the senator. Now, granted, she was not an elected senator. She was appointed to fill a vacant seat. So she wasn't on a ballot. But she must have been an alternate or something. I don't know. We're going to find. But speaking of Baltimore, y'all got to see this other one, too. Hold on. Like I said, I need to see more about this, but it sounds like she just was spying on somebody, got some footage, and was trying to extort them, which is pretty nasty stuff. And this is who is the senators. You know, not the everyday people, not the regular working people. That's not who you need to be worried about. You got to be worried about police, senators, people running organizations like Candace Owens was saying with Turning Point and Trump administration. Like, this shit is way up here somewhere. Average person, we're not even touched by it. We can't even touch it. All we do is hear the story, like I'm hearing right now. So since we're in Baltimore, what's that one? Yeah. Give me a second here. Let me bring this other one over. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. So there is a Baltimore police officer who is currently facing charges for trying to run over somebody with police cruiser. And I don't know what's going on in Baltimore. I don't. So anybody who's in Baltimore, y'all can tell me. But I feel like there might be something in the water or something with the police up there, because you got the state senator arrested. Now you got the police trying to run people over. So let's see what we got. All right, so Baltimore's police officer is suspended after apparently trying to run over a civilian before crashing into a house. Let's watch the video.
Yeah, what's your reason to stop me? You ain't even got no reason to stopping them, bro. Hey, yo, walk off, Trey. You hit the alley, yo. Go ahead, Trey, walk off, yo. He beating. You ain't even got no reason to stop him. Hey, yo, what the fuck? You gonna hit him with the car? What the fuck, bro? Yo, hell no, yo. Hey, yo. Come back this way, yo. Yo, beating, bro.
Yeah.
That's his dumb ass. Dumb ass. Fucking dummy.
This is crazy.
Dumb ass, you dumb as shit. You dumb as shit. You crashing it all that. You really crashing out, bro.
Like, literally.
Go ahead, dumb ass. Really crashing out, bro. You crashed his car and all that, bro. Don't really try to hit my man, bro. What the fuck? Don't really try to hit, bro, with the car and all that. Oh, hell no.
All right, so let's review this. So we got a gentleman standing here on the phone. They're hanging out. And the officer says something, but he doesn't go to try and arrest anybody while he's outside of the car. So that's where I get a little, let's see where this goes, right? So he's outside of the car.
You ain't even got no reason to stopping him.
And instead of pulling away and like leaving, uses the car to try to run the guy over in the next scene right here.
Yo, he beating. You ain't even got no reason to stop him.
So you got your person walking off.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Now here's the question. If he would have hit that person right there, then what? Would he have said that the person tried to hurt him? Because this is like, obviously, he's trying to hit him with the car.
Hey, yo, what the fuck? You gonna hit him with the car? Don't Yo, what the fuck, bro? Yo, hell no, yo. Hey, yo. Come back this way, yo.
Yeah, he's tripping. Okay. All right. Well, got what he deserved, I guess, at the end and crashed his car. But I think that, honestly, that officer needs to face criminal charges. Let's see if we got any charges on. Well, they suspended him. That's it. I'll tell you what, if I did that, I'd be looking at attempted murder charges. So, why is he not looking at attempted murder charges? I don't get that. They suspend him, yes, that's at minimum, because we don't want him on the streets acting like that. So you got to suspend him. But why is he not getting criminal charges? I don't know. I don't know. So I hope this guy never holds a badge again. He's a danger to the damn community. He got to go. He got to go. I'm through with this guy. We're getting there. We are getting. All right, guys. I know some of y'all gonna be pissed about this next. So, Kamala Harris has been trending again, and it's because she's been doing a segment or series of interviews, and I believe it's because she's planning on running in 2028, which I don't personally think is a good idea, but you know, nobody's gonna ask me about it. But because she's doing that, she's made at least 5 appearances in the last 3 days on different podcasts. And now she's trending because of some of the things that We're going to go over 1 or 2 of them real quick. We're going to have a quick discussion. And we're going to see what with the whole Joe Biden was fine conversation. Like, nobody would be mad. I wouldn't be mad at Kamala if she was like, yeah, you know, he's an older guy and wasn't as swift as he used to be. And, you know, it might have been tough for him to make it through another race. Like, why not just be honest about it? That's all I'm saying. It just seems like we all saw it. That's like even this lady in the interview. She's obviously not from the U.S., and she saw it. So I think if Kamala wants to make another run for the White House, okay, the best way to start that is to start with being honest about the last run. Like where things were not working, where things were weak. Be honest about that, because that's how Donald Trump won the election, is people thought he was being honest about some things, or at least he was talking about some things that people honestly were looking at or honestly felt. And I believe that part of that is how he won that election. He was identifying things that were kind of on the ground, easy for people to swallow. Pause. Whereas Kamala Harris is, you know, she can talk. She can talk. She's good with words. But what people want to see is you admit the truth about certain things so that they can trust you. And this is where the problem is. They don't trust her. This is why it's going to be hard to elect her, because a lot of people don't trust her. They don't trust what she's saying. They trusted what Donald Trump was saying, even though he didn't lie a million times. But somehow, they were trusting what he was talking about. And when he was saying something was up with Joe Biden, other people were like, yeah, something's up with Joe Biden. And then all of a sudden, they put Kamala Harris into place to run for president, but she's still not willing to say that that happened as a result of Joe Biden slowing down, and that Joe Biden's frailty and the fact that he took so long to bow out gracefully. Actually, it wasn't graceful, that Nancy Pelosi and them pushed him out. But nonetheless, the fact that he took that long before he was taken out of the race did that affect whether or not you could win the race? She could easily have just said, yeah, it put me at a disadvantage because, America was looking at one thing and then they had to look at something else. And I was still, new to people. A lot of people didn't know me like they knew Joe Biden. I didn't have the same record as Joe Biden. There was a lot of ways that she could have accepted what we all saw and still said, hey, I believed in him, but I can't say that he's as swift as he was in the 90s. Like, you could easily say that and get away with it. I don't know why she steers away from that every time that question comes. Maybe her and Joe have an agreement. Look, Joe's like, look, if they keep asking you about whether or not I was messed up, it's a setup. Because the second you admit that I was messed up, they're going to say, well, why didn't you step in and do something when you first noticed it? So it's a catch-22. It's a bait to switch on her. So if this is where we're starting with this 2028 run, I don't like it. I didn't like how they started the last run. And I told people that. I had no issue personally with Kamala Harris. She didn't put me in jail. I don't know her like that. What I said was the campaign that they were putting behind her, it didn't feel authentic. They started having Meg Thee Stallion performing and all this other stuff. And, it just didn't feel right. It felt like it was a parody. And on the other side, they were doubling down on things like dudes in women's bathrooms, which is like a debate that we shouldn't even be having. And they stood on that shit. So, I don't know. But she's been on this all week. So there's another one that came up. And she's very upset about the ballroom that is being constructed currently at the White House. So she went on Jon Stewart's show, and this is what she had to say about the ballroom.
Are you fucking kidding me? This guy wants to create a ballroom for his rich friends while completely turning a blind eye to the fact that babies are going to starve when the SNAP benefits end in just hours from now? Come on. So I'm not going to be distracted by, does the guy have a big fucking hammer? What about those babies?
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? This guy wants...
All right, I'll say this. She makes her own point. It's a good point. But at the same time, I'm not really comfortable with Kamala Harris dropping the F-bomb all the time. She's more of a lady than that, at least in my opinion. So carrying yourself with a little bit more poise is probably a better option. And, Trump be cussing, and people cringe over that too. So, we don't necessarily all have to do that. I know Jasmine Crockett's been cussing a lot. A lot of people have been cussing and fussing. There's nothing wrong with using a little profanity at the right time, but if she wants to run for president, she's going to have to look like she's the most polished version of herself ever. No more questions about whether or not she was drinking before they did the interview and stuff like that. She's gonna have to tighten it up for these interviews because people are looking for holes to poke in Kamala Harris's stories at all times. They're looking to find some reason to discredit everything she said. Now, in this case, she's talking about the White House ballroom being constructed during the time of a government shutdown. It does sound crazy. How do we have money to build something when we don't have money for this other thing? Anybody that knows how government works knows they always got money. I've been telling y'all this from the moment they started this shit. There's money all over the place. They just have to sign some forms and agree that we're going to send the money this way. That's what Congress's thing is. They hold the purse strings, as they say. So it's never that the U.S. doesn't have money. The U.S. got money. And if we don't have money, we can borrow money from a million other countries that we have loaned money to. So it's never that the U.S. is without money. That's never the case. Don't let them keep telling you that bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay? What it is they have money in different places that's supposed to be allocated for different things. And if they have to move it from one place to the next, it takes a decision-making process and some legislation. And they don't really like doing all. So that's really why the SNAP benefits thing was a thing. But like I said in the very beginning, the states got money too. They're not going to let 42 million people go hungry. It's not going to happen. What's going to happen is the states and the federal government will work together to figure out where there's some extra money to at least get people through November and December. Because if people can't buy food, that will crash the damn economy. See how that works? If all of a sudden nobody's going to the supermarket, or at least 42 million people aren't going to the supermarket or Walmart or any of those places where they accept EBT, it'll crash the damn market because they won't make their money. So no, we can't do that. It's not going to happen. Said that in the beginning. Nobody was listening though. Then they started jumping on the internet talking about, I'm going to go steal everything. And that's stupid. Now they know who you are. Should have kept your mouth shut. So in addition to this clip where she's upset about the ballroom, which I understand why there would be a question. How are we building something if we don't have money to feed people? And that sounds like a good question. Maybe somebody should come on and answer that. I just did, but I'm just saying from a professional standpoint, they should be answering that. Because people in America do want to know, how are we running out of these benefits, but we're also having a Great Gatsby Halloween party that costs $1 million at the White House. And we're also building a ballroom at the White House so you can have parties over there. Like, where's all that money coming from? So, in addition, she got into one other podcast here. I can't remember this guy's name, but the light-skinned dude from somewhere else. So he comes on. Asks her something, and she responds like, fuck it. So that's what I heard. We're going to check it out.
Right. Like, am I just like, fuck it?
Okay, she said it. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't ask the question with pretense.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Are you just like, fuck it now? It doesn't matter. Because the book had fuck it energy.
Yeah, I think there is that energy in the book. Right. Like,
okay, so she feels like, fuck it. Okay. I might need to go watch that whole clip because it comes right in.
Right. Like, am I just like, fuck it?
No, I don't feel too comfortable with her being this relaxed about everything. Cussing too much. She wasn't cussing like that during the campaign or when she ran or when she was becoming the vice president in the first place. So, I don't know, man. I'm just not comfortable with it. I think the Democratic Party is splintered right now, and they need to find somebody to get behind that's doing all the right things, and I don't think they have anybody right now. Kamala Harris was their person for a second. Obama, they still love Obama, but he can't run again anyway. So I don't know who they get behind at this point. It just seems so splintered. They're all over the damn. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Kamala Harris cussing all the time. I just think it makes her look kind of lower class. I'm not saying she's some super high class person. It just makes her look lower class than what she normally would look. It just makes her look like I don't know. It'll be nice. Decided to murder my channel. Okay. All right, so here's an interesting one, guys. For my hip hop head, okay? This might shock some of you, but Billboard just announced that for the first time since February 1990, there is not one rap song appearing in the top 40 of the Hot 100. Let me say that to you again. For the first time since 1990, okay, you can do the math on how long ago that was. There is not one, even considering all the new projects that have been dropped recently, there is not one rap song appearing on the Billboard Hot 100 in the top 40. Apparently there's some on there, but they're not in the top 40. And I would say that part of the problem is that a lot of the current rap songs and current rap is crap. And the question became, is hip hop still relevant to the culture? So we're going to have a quick discussion about that. And I want y'all to see part of the reason why I think hip hop is no relevant. Check this out. So we got this. I'm gonna play 2 seconds of this because I've heard this. But this is the kind of music that's currently out.
Hey, I don't like to murder, I just want money. Tell me what the fuck funny, we rap that nigga just like mommy. Cruise off in the Ace 5, we crash it just like test dummies. I'm a grown lady, Uncle Sam my best buddy. I only consent, baby, sign his NDA.
All right, that's enough of that. So she's just one person. I've played a few of these things. I get hit all the time for the copyrights, but I want y'all to hear the crap that they're putting out. This is garbage. This is garbage. There's no wonder why things are not on the top 40 anymore, because the rap music is garbage now. It is. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Even the top level artists ain't saying nothing no more. It's just garbage. And, you know, I used to love my hip hop music. I used to love rap music when I was a kid. And this one album that I listened to when I was young. It was the Slick Rick album. Had Mona Lisa on it. I used to rock that whole album from start to finish. And I'm talking about, I had the album, the actual album of this. And I remember the storytelling, and it was almost like you could picture it. Well, it was one of those days, not much to do. I was chilling outside with my old school crew, chilling down the store to buy a slice of pizza to a girl named was Mona. What? Mona Lisa. Like a story was told. I was chilling. I went to go get some pizza. I ran into this chick. Her name was Mona Lisa. It was a story you could follow. Now I can't follow the story no more because the story is not really, first of all, it's not real. But second of all, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just garbage. It's just garbage, man. It's so much garbage. It's so much garbage. And then when you find one that's got a little sliver of goodness in it, that shit gets suppressed. They can't have that. It's got to be all garbage. And I was watching a movie the other day about how they utilized hip hop as a psyop to promote gang violence among urban youth. And it was successful, so much so that it spilled over into lower income white youth. So this was all by design. Gangsta rap didn't just organically become the thing that it is. Gang violence in rap did not organically happen. For those of you who've seen the NWA movie, there was a dude named Jerry Lawler, I think his last name was. He was the manager for NWA. You think Jerry listened to that NWA shit in his car when NWA was not around? No. He had absolutely no loving of that music, but he knew it could make money. And he tried to act like he cared about the culture and he cared about the stories being told when he was talking to the artists, and it was somewhat believable. But at the end of the day, he wasn't playing that shit in his car. He wasn't playing that for his family or anybody else. He was only trying to get young urban youth to listen to it so that they could be part of this corrupted music that they were putting out there. It's hard to admit it. It's hard to hear it, but that's what happened. All of them A&Rs, those guys were not listening to that music. They were playing on the fact that young brothers needed money and they wanted to promote this gang culture. And the only way to promote the gang culture to black people is through black people. So you find somebody that's not doing too well, needs a little couple dollars in their life, right? And you say, hey, I'll make you a superstar, but this is the type of content you got to put out. You got to put out garbage. You know it's garbage, but you'll be paid. Most of the artists knew. Most of the artists were like, yeah, I mean, I didn't have a choice. I was broke. And they said, you got to put out this kind of music. You got to put out this kind of sound. It is what it is. You see what I'm saying? So now we have this bullshit.
Better put that pussy on his face and take his BOA. If you get sick, I got Quay. Pussy niggas hating on me, all that hot take, got delayed.
You see my point, right? This is a far cry from Bahamadia and Lauryn Hill and shit. Back when hip hop music used to show up in the top 40 all the time. So we killed it. You want to say hip hop is dead? It's not dead, but it's damn sure on life support. It is on life support because the artists that held true to the culture are now all old and gray like myself. And when they pop back out, the young people like, oh, you too old to be doing this, and they don't support it. And then the grown folks like us, we ain't trying to go to concerts and stuff like that all the time, so we can't really support it. So yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad to me to admit it, but I feel like they killed it. I feel like they killed hip hop years ago, and that's why I'm not even comfortable with it. I can't listen to nothing but old school stuff these days. I get one halfway decent artist, and it's like a million crappy artists. The artists that I like, y'all ain't even never heard of them. I done caught a couple on Facebook and YouTube. Like, what's the dude's name? Gifted Hands. The dude, he's handicapped. He's killing it on the rap, but they ain't gonna push that. They gonna push this crazy chick that's rapping here, but they not gonna push my man Gifted Hands. Okay, I'm one of the ones. Man, Joe, bro, be rocking. Okay, for those that don't know who Gifted Hands is, check him out. Check him out. Like I said, the dude is handicapped and he's killing it on the flows. But if that's our last hope, where are we gonna go with that? Because right now, we've even got the so-called mainstream or popular artists, they're beefing with each other over nothing because for whatever reason they think that their situation is the most relevant. I'm gonna do this last one. And what's up, Al? I see you in the chat, man. I'm on a Sunday, so I know no notifications went out for this. The freaking algorithm is like, there's no way he's on a Sunday. Well, YouTube, I came on a Sunday, so what you gonna do about it? So let me show y'all this last little piece that we need to talk about. So NLE Choppa is coming after was it NBA YoungBoy? Where's this damn video at? All right, so we'll look at it this way. So basically, he comes up with this song called KO, and he's basically getting on NBA YoungBoy, saying that he is a bad influence on the youth, and he is controlled by Satan. So let's see what part of the clip this is. You poison the youth, no. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now, that dance is fruity as shit. That was a very Puff Daddy dance. I swear to God, I heard can't stop, won't stop when he started doing that move. Now, granted, you're using the Biggie beat. You're doing a whole kind of a hit 'em up, playing on the Tupac thing, which does pay some homage to hip hop greats. I'll give you that, Mr. Choppa. But if the goal of the song was to point out that somebody else is possibly being controlled by Satan, you didn't do a good job because it seemed like you were the one being controlled. Like I said, these fruity ass moves, sorry. Look at that. Y'all see it? In case y'all don't see it, look at this. You got to see this move here. You got to see it. Let me move this over so they can see when he breaks down into his Puff Daddy day. Look at him. Wasn't he locked up for a little bit? Is that what happened? Did they get him in there doing on his tippy toes? They had him on his tippy toes and I don't know how I feel about this song. All right, well, I'll give my review of the song because I have listened to it. The song is whack. Okay, the song is absolute garbage. You did not do Hit 'Em Up well. You did not pay Biggie respect well. It was absolute garbage, and I don't want to see any more of it. I don't want to hear any more of it. Now, I know I'm not the only person that feels like that. And you see the video, y'all see it.
Just a nigga with emotion.
me turn the volume down. Y'all can just see the visuals. He dancing like Michael Jackson and stuff. I don't know. It just seems fruity. I don't know what it is about this video that seems fruity to me, but he's trying to do the Tupac thing and so on and so forth. All right, whatever, man. This is garbage. Absolute garbage. I don't know what to tell y'all, man. It's all garbage. And even I think Charleston White came and spoke out on it. I'll let Charleston White say his piece. Funny. He's kind of an asshole, but he's also funny. So let's see what Charleston has
NLE Choppa, listen to me. You can't go walk the runway with that little walk. You remember that walk you had? I think I'm a bad bitch. You can't come back with that walk. I think I'm a bad bitch. You can't come back with that NLE Choppa fucking with that boy. Now them boy got some dances. Them boy, but nigga, you went to holler about if you was a bad bitch, I suck my dick too. You are disqualified from saying anything to Kentrell. NLE, you have been disqualified. I wouldn't give a fuck if you and King Von got in the car and shot them guns together. Once you learn that walk, like that runway model walk, and you went in front of the whole gay world, nigga, say, and they were whistling Dixie, it's your little yellow ass, you can't come back over here to this side of the railroad track, nigga, and go to barking. No. Go back over there and finish sucking your dick, nephew. Go back over there and finish being a bad bitch and sucking your dick.
Okay, well, Charleston said his piece. Before I get myself in trouble here, let me make sure that I stop that. Jeez. Amazon pay. Shouts to Amazon. For here I got some. So here's the thing. I'm gonna bring it back because I gotta close this out. I got shit to do today. I had to get some of these clips done so I could do the shorts. It's always about the shorts. Gotta get the shorts done. Some of these clips had to be down so we could do the shorts. But let's talk about it, man. Let's be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Very honest. Rap is crap these days, and I'm sick of it. And I want real rap music. I want it back. I don't know what happened to her. I used to love her. And I think we got played. We got played years ago when they went mainstream with rap music. Took away its authenticity. Took away a lot of its flavor. Now we sitting here listening to NLE Choppa try to do Hit 'Em Up with a bunch of fruity dances. It's sad, man. I don't know. I'm very upset by it because I don't think that they can renaissance that. Kids aren't even picking up instruments these days. You're not going to renaissance it. But what was hip hop will never be back. We will never have another Rakim, Eric B kind of situation. We'll never have another KRS-One or anybody who was actually trying to teach something. We're not going to ever have that again. All we're going to get is garbage in, garbage out. So if hip-hop's not making it on the top 100 no more, the top 40 no more, that's a sign of the times. Because for almost 40 years, you could always find a rap song at the top of the charts. And now it's not even in the top half of the top 100. It's very sad, very unusual, considering the fact that there's so much money going into this quote-unquote urban music. And I see so many people dancing to the trends and the streams and all that kind of stuff, but mainstream level, not even there. Now, hip-hop was never intended to be mainstream. Rap wasn't. A dance pop kind of shit, yeah. But actual rap music was never really intended to be mainstream. So maybe, just maybe we'll get a renaissance in that direction where they start getting back to real hip-hop. Like Locksmith, those guys. But Locksmith's not no young guy either. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, he can rap, but if he hits the ground hard, he might have 5 good years before they age him all the way out. So, but I think hip hop might be dead. But if it's not dead, it's definitely on life. So nonetheless, I do have to get out of here because, like I said, I got my Amazon package here, so I got some work to do. But thank you, Albon, for jumping on. I know that it was an off-cuff episode, sending notifications to people I've never seen before. And those of you that were on the side, shouts to Endeavor, to persevere. Shouts for jumping in there. Make sure that you hit the like button. But I'll be back on Tuesday. This was actually supposed to be a Saturday episode, but I had a lot going on. I needed to get these clips done so I can move to the next one for the Tuesday show and get the shorts going between today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. So thank y'all for hanging out with me on a Sunday morning. If you're a football fan, hopefully your team does well today. Shouts to the Baltimore Ravens for starting the weekend off right on Thursday with the win against the Miami Dolphins. And good to see Lamar Jackson is back. But nonetheless, I love y'all. I'm going to see y'all on Tuesday. But if I don't see you on Tuesday, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. Peace.